Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to introduce the rules of the competition. Please pay attention to Master Raknian as he explains what is about to happen. And he bows to you and sort of pulls back, and he takes the bodyguard position of being behind and to the side, alongside the other guards. And the Raknian's like opens up, saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the games. Another year of merriment, combat, and bloodshed." And people sort of politely clap, etc. Especially at the mention of bloodshed. Before you have the greatest competitors this great city has seen in a long time. We have AKM and his team returning champions for a 4th year. And we have the ladies of Selene, the moon and the stars of Her Royal Highness court, who will defend the honor of Elvenkind across the Flanez. We have, and he points very dramatically, at the short stack. Many people believe them to be short of wit as well as height, but I assure you, they're deadly at what they do. And we have, of course, our newcomers, the Dragonborn Kicks and his party. And every time someone does something, he politely claps, and people around you sort of clap you in the back, kicks and stuff like that. Even somebody from somewhere, Hugh, goes like, "Yeah, you're in it too, yeah." Like, people are very excited that you're all here. Now, for the rules of the game, as you understand, and for the old hands, of course, this is nothing new. Nothing really has changed, but it's important. Go over the rules. Everybody knows them. We're clear of them. Now, first of all, as you all know, for those who all do know, you will be held in the barracks for the duration of the games. Each team will have to fight one battle, at least one battle a day, for 5 days straight, from the first to the last round. It is a double elimination system, which means that even if you fail the first time around, you may get a chance. But acquire too many losses, and you'll be completely written out. Not all the combats are to the death, and we warn you that useless bloodshed against your fellow competitors, it's heavily frowned upon and might end you in the gaol of Greyhawk. For we do not condemn murder in the games. However, these are dangerous and difficult situations, and they face traps and monsters. Well, that which is man or beast or machine does not care for your life, only to take it. People are excited, huh? Furthermore, once you enter the arena, once you enter the games, you cannot exit until it is over. I will ask all competitors to respect the privacy of their fellows and to retain themselves in the areas that you'll be assigned. Do not worry, for you will have food and drink and place to rest and merriment as you hear about the games above you. It might tend a little bit boring, but I'm sure many of you will be nursing your wounds. We have healers that will tend to you, but we want you to succeed as much as possible. It is here to prove who is the best. Now, I mentioned 5 rounds. 2 of them, which will be chosen at the moment then announced, will be against either beast or contraptions, while the other 3 will be against teams. The first round will be the 1-to-1 round, and it will be selected by lots whether or not whoever you fight. Now, let's do the round of the rounds, which I have the notes right, and I didn't put up because I'm a dummy. Great way to break the flow.
I just assume it's like a lull in the action as they draw the lots.
Yeah.
So they little spinny thing where we pick out like bingo balls or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, if that's what happens, Hugh wants to pick. Hugh would be
no,
super excited.
You don't get to pick. People, they pick for you.
There's only technically 4 things to draw anyway.
Yeah. So, the first round will be solo combatants. Kicks at you against and his chosen member of his team against Iger. And you see Iger is the tall barbarian. He's like
Right, and this is the returning champion team.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Starting off with the best show. I see.
Round 2 will be a beast match, which, depending on your lot at the moment chosen, you'll see who the beast is. We cannot reveal which dangerous monster you will face, but it will be a 2-to-1 competition. Bring your 2 best to the fight against the beast that is strong in the right. The reason why keep it secret is because we don't want to give the poor beast a disadvantage and have him being died without being able to fight. Round 3 is a gladiatorial concept. It'll be the short stack, 3 of the short stack against Kix and his team, chosen 3. And they mention other people, but those are the ones relevant to you. Round 4 will be a hazards combat, where you not only face mysterious combatants, but also the hazards of the arena: fire, flame, thunder, lightning, and blade. And last but not least, will be the 5-to-5 combat in the final round. Whoever is left will fight whoever is the champion. Bring your best and hope for the best. The reason why they can't tell you who the last round is because whoever happens who has survived all those rounds. So,
Yeah.
And Pandaren also did the same thing. Very good. I'm glad we're both taking notes.
I also have it written down on my end, just on a piece of paper.
So first round is the 1-to-1 round. Second round is 2-to-1. Third round is 3 versus 3. Fourth round is 4 people. Again, they don't tell you who exactly you're fighting, but it's hazards. So there'll be traps and other things, contraptions. And the final round, whoever has, the 2 teams that have made it to the end, we have 5 versus B5.
Interesting.
Now you see the gentleman with the sort of yellowish skin, sort of something in the ear of Raknian. Ah, yes. Well, we must prepare, but enjoy the evening. Free drinks and food for everyone. Bulk up. Make sure you have a night to sleep or whatever hangover you have. And tomorrow night, the day after tomorrow, we start the great games of the free city of Greyhawk. And people start clapping wildly.
As he was like whispering, is it possible? I rolled like an insight check if that matters at all. I just wanted to see if I can catch maybe what they're doing or saying.
Can you read lips?
Is that a skill? I don't know.
The observation, or no, the alert, I think, talent gives it.
It's observant.
I do not have that talent then, no.
Well, you don't get to see what he's saying, but the way that this individual is talking to Raknian is trying to play it off as, not very important, but this individual is being very serious and sort of like something is important, but again, if you can't read lips, you can't tell.
All right, I can't tell, but it's a interesting thing nonetheless.
As this party goes on, are there any pets within this sort of house?
No.
I would also check with the help, because being a kobold, I could probably get more information.
You do notice there's a lot of trophies in the walls.
Okay.
There's normal stuff like, say, bears, a panther here or there. As you're walking in one of the passageways, because the house is enormous, it's a manor house.
Yeah.
There's this giant black creature that's like a panther, but it has tentacles coming out of its back. You don't know what it is. And it's stuff, right? It's like post like an attack post, right? Another one is you're walking around and you see relatively small. It's relatively small, but it's hanging from the ceiling, almost like a disco ball, but it has a central eye and like little stalks on top of it. But it's like yay big. And it basically says "Don't touch." There's a little sign that says "Don't touch."
They're wheeling out the beholder statue.
So no, in that case, I'll just end up going back to the party, sticking with our group, listening around.
Yeah, the problem with the staff is that they're just back and forth. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, especially the competitors. I mean, most of them are fighters and the like, so they're taking a lot of food. Like, they empty one plate, empty one area, and they bring more stuff. And there's the drink, especially the ale. Even though this is high supposed to have society, it's mostly ale and beer and sort of more. I mean, people are getting drunk anyway, right?
Actually, wait, no, I know exactly what he would do
Okay.
with Druidcraft.
Uh-huh.
He would make little badges,
Uh-huh.
or the equivalent of that, to represent like we're all fighting, kind of like when you go to like a convention.
Yeah.
He would just start walking around handing them out to all the competitors.
I mean, a lot of them do take it. The only person that takes it from the Elven team, the others kind of decline politely. They're not rude or anything. They're like, they sort of give you the universal sign of no, thank you, right?
Yep.
Like when you're in a mall, somebody's going to give you a pamphlet. You're like, kind of like that. But the priestess that you recognize, she takes it. And she looks at it, and she doesn't put it on. She just sort of puts it in a pouch or something. But, very carefully, right? She doesn't just like, whatever. They seem, it's very interesting because these elves seem distant, especially through language. But at no point are they overtly rude, outside, of course, speaking their own language when most people speak in common.
They're
but it's
being
more
elves.
they're being elves, but not necessarily. They're not going out of their way to be, contentious or they don't criticize the food or anything like that. They drink politely. They eat their portions, right? Mostly celery and more vegetables rather than the more heartier foods, but that's about it.
All right. So he was trying to see how people respond, but he's also trying to make it so people don't take him seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it's everybody's having a good time, and a lot of people eventually, the more people get drunk, the more they're willing to approach you and ask you questions, where you come from, etc. Barakat, you notice among the short stack, people call themselves the short stack. This individual, let me see if I can show it to players without showing the characters. Anybody can see that?
I don't see anything.
Anybody see anything?
If it's under player journal, unless like the first page shows vital information, you should be fine to show it to players.
Yeah, and it's showing the picture, but it says show to players, but apparently it's not working. You do notice, whether you see it or not, that there is clearly a monk, and he's a gnome, but his skin tones are darker, like someone who has been under the sun a lot. And he's wearing the kind of monkish robes that you would find in Baclunish lands. And he's very serious, like very quiet, very serious. And when he sees you, when you see him, he nods respectfully, but says nothing. He seems to be a member of what people call the team they call the short stack.
All right, so there's a gnome monk who's learned Baclunish monk stuff. Okay.
The members of, Agur is the one that is very vocal. The most vocal among the members of the champion group. And so when you're talking around, are you going to engage him or just going to listen to what he's saying? What's your approach to trying to get information from people?
My approach is start by listening and kind of find a place to enter whatever conversation to ask about, whatever. So it's going to start by listening and transition into talking.
Yeah, as you're doing that, it's suddenly Agur, who is nearly 6'5", 6'6", right? He's pretty tall. Kind of drapes an arm around you. It's like, Here, let's have a drink. You and I. You seem to be very quiet, you Bacloonish sorts. Now, they usually say that we of the sewer blood and the Bacloonish should be enemies. But I only find enemies among those who are stupid enough to fight me. None have survived my blade in real combat. But in the arena, one should know how to forgive others and let them live.
Dude
You
has like
think
a foot on me.
Yeah. Hey, you know that dragon fellow, don't you?
Yes, I do.
So, is he a good fighter as people say he is? I mean, he must be if he's in the competition.
Yeah, he's done well so far.
Modest. Oh, trait I find very much in the South. We of the North have no fear of boasting about our true accomplishment. If you kill a bear with your bare hands, you become unbearable. And he starts taking a swig of his ale, like, and that's the joke starts rolling at that moment, and they're go from bad to worse, right? It's just this guy is pun central. Yeah, he's pun central, right? But mostly I think you get the feeling that he uses puns because it's much easier to translate, try to trick, he do an insight on him.
I can't promise it'll go well. It's a 10.
Yeah, you know that this guy's, by the kind of questions he's asking, essentially he's doing the same thing that you're doing, but he's posing as a big dumb wall of muscle that he's leaning. He's not even leaning. He's diving into the whole stereotype of being the big strong barbarian of the North, right? But he doesn't have you fooled, right? And so he's asked questions and he talks about the ladies who's like, well, I heard about the elves. They are as flexible in the battlefield as they are in the bed. Never betted an elven.
Wow, they just keep getting worse.
Yeah, he keeps going. No shame, right? But you with your insight, with about 15, what you got, that this guy's, there's a lot of he's bluster and bluffing, right? He's leaning into the idea of being this. And he asks you different questions about your team. He asks you about the kobold. Like, I once kicked a kobold. He made it halfway through the room. It was a good kick.
Yeah.
Have you kicked that kobold?
I have never had the opportunity.
Well, maybe we can invite him over. Make bets. See how far we can kick him. Whoever reaches the wall first wins. 10 gold. Hey, kobold, come here.
I would win that.
Q will gladly come over. He's like, how can I help?
Stand there.
Why?
Because we have a bet with your friend here.
No, don't
What's
do it.
the bet?
Oh, see how far we can kick you. Whoever can kick you the farthest gets 10 gold.
I never agreed to this.
Hold on 1 second. I will find someone who is part of the help and be like, excuse me, may I please get a blanket?
Okay. Like, he looks at you, he's like, sure. Like, he's like, that's not the weirdest thing that's happened tonight. Sure, I'll give you a blanket.
So I get the blanket, I wrap it around myself, and I run up and I'm like, okay, I'm okay with this now.
And when he sees you with the blanket, he just peels back and roars in laughter. Right? Like, I like this kobold. This kobold gets it. And you see a huge hand come into in the head. And you just you hit the floor, right? It's not so much that he should punch you. It's like just the sheer weight of dead hand. Oh, sorry. And he picks you up. That's too high. Wait, I put you down. I like this kobold. We're not kicking this kobold tonight. This kobold has to drink. And he grabs the tankard and just shoves it in your hands like a big ass tankard. It's like, you kobold have made me laugh. And that's something most people cannot do. That is a great accomplishment that you can boast for the rest of your tiny little life. drink.
Okay, he's real big, and I'm gonna drink because he's big.
Yeah. And basically, unless you do something to get away from him, he's just has you locked in a with his one arm and shouting and doing all this for gods know how long he can keep this up, right? But also with your insight, you realize that he seems to be drinking a lot, but not really sort of finishing any one drink, right? So he's taking it easy, right? He seems to be like, again, part of the showmanship of being, the big dumb barbarian.
Hugh's not worried about getting drunk because he knows the worst thing that he's going to do is tell stories until he passes out. And no one will believe his stories anyway because they sound so ludicrous.
Do you do that? You try to get drunk and start telling a story?
Oh, yeah. Because he's not getting away from this guy.
Oh, he absolutely loves it. He absolutely loves it. The wilder the story, the craziest, the more he loves it. And he pairs it like his grandfather once wrestled a white dragon to the ground. Like he says that he was on top of a mountain, jumped on the back of the dragon, wrestled it to the ground, right down, hitting all the rocks down to the ground, and he finally squeezed the life out of the dragon at the bottom of the hill. And then he died because he just got banged up all the way there. But he killed the dragon, at the age of 88.
In that case, in response, in Giant, it's just like, I have yet to slay a dragon.
Well, my friend. And he switches to Giant. He switches and he's like, well, my friend, we should make a game of it then. And he points at Kix like, no, too small. You need a bigger bigger dragon. Yeah.
100%.
While you two are talking, I go to Barricade and whisper, is everything okay?
Me the fuck out of here.
I say as I slip behind him to hide myself.
Yeah, go. I'll take this spot.
While I'm drinking, do I notice anybody else thrown off by the fact that this little kobold just threw out Giant?
Not really. I mean, everybody's, again, most of the attitude is you have the competitors and you have the fans. And the fans are just like, imagine if this was like a WWE meetup with like the biggest stars, like the top 10 stars of the ring, right? You'd be like, oh my God. And, John 26, hey, sign my poster. Hey, some lady goes like, and someone goes like, do that. We don't do that here. It's like, and even some people had to be dragged out by the guards because there's plenty of guards here because they're like, yeah, no, you're too drunk, out you go, right? Yeah, so it's that kind of atmosphere, very carnival-esque atmosphere in the place. That's how I would describe it.
If anything, at the end of the night, someone has to carry Hugh to an actual bed because he would enjoy the night and be out. So basically, like the equivalent of carrying a child to bed.
Yeah, basically, Ager grabs you by the scruff of the neck and it's like, and he makes sure he doesn't wreck your helmet and stuff like that. It doesn't, and he hands you over to Braith like, I think your little friend is done. He had a great night.
He was snoring.
Yeah.
That is. I will make sure that Master Hugh gets a good night's rest.
Yes. And I shall see you all in the arena. And he, stumbles back to the rest of the group. And someone says, you had a fun, good time? Yeah. And then, laughing and have a good time. But you see that you can do an insight on what you see because you're going to follow him.
Oh, good.
Could I have done an insight during that time that we were drinking?
Yeah. You two can do an insight. Although you were at disadvantage because you're getting
perfectly fine. I'm also like super good at insight with that 4 because I rolled a natural 1.
Yeah. You're very drunk. You're like, that's Brave, you notice that the one person you were following the line of sight. When you notice, I believe if I have her here. someone else who has been sort of nursing their drinks.
Hmm.
You can see her. So she's
Okay.
looking side by side, like, she's doing the thing where she stands in the corner, looking at everybody, nursing a drink. She doesn't seem to be either a noble or any of the members of these fighting groups, right?
Interesting. I'm assuming the party is winding down a little bit at this point.
Yeah, right.
So I'm actually gonna go up to her, just casually, and I'd say, "It looks like you had quite a show to watch, then, isn't it, Miss?"
Oh, you're one of the competitors, aren't you?
I am, yes. I'm here as a member of the team of Master Kicks, and I point to Kicks over there. And you are?
Celeste. My friends call me Celeste, and she sort of gives you her hand, right? To shake.
Madam Celeste, it is a pleasure.
So what really brings you to these games? They're dangerous.
Mix of, well, to be frank, it is a mix of self-promotion and politics.
Ah, so not mere gold, I see.
My
Interesting.
end. I'm
Mhm.
here to help out a friend, and hopefully we look good doing it. Let's put it that way.
Well, as a priest of court, I would expect that you could test your mettle in the games.
That is a
So
secondary objective for sure.
so tell me, where is your turtle friend?
The minute she says that, I kind of give her I kind of do like the squint. You know what I mean? Like almost like the Clint Eastwood squint. Like I'm like just giving her the stare. I was like, Master Gar is not here. Pray tell me, how do you know him?
Oh, I spotted him uh, in the guild. I had to try. Well, I attempted to have some dealings with those close-minded wizards and mages and sages, but no go of that.
Is there something you need help with?
Uh, he's gonna roll an insight on you.
I've never had an insight rolled on me before. This is interesting.
This person quickly rose up my list of people I like in this campaign.
She's kind of looks at you askance, and she says, "How much do you really know about our Lord Raknian?"
I only know that he was a former champion. That's pretty much the extent of it. I'm not from the city of Greyhawk.
Mm.
I've mostly spent most of my time in the Wild Coast trying to fight off the encroaching orc empire.
Let's just
Is
say
this-
that there's more to this, I fear, than the mere games.
Okay, now my interest is piqued. What do I say?
You're gonna be inside, aren't you?
Inside the games, that is the plan, yes.
I would pay well, good coin, for any information that you can get of the inside of the operation.
And what is your stake in this?
Heightened curiosity.
I'm sorry, Madam Celeste, but I would prefer you be I would ask if you can be a little bit more forthcoming. And if you wish, I could also regale this to the rest of my group. I specifically point to Kicks.
You notice that man, Okoro, his name, he didn't say it, but that's his name. The man with Raknian, correct?
Yes, the yellow-skinned man.
He's from the north. To the dark north.
When she says dark north, I assume I know what that is.
Yeah, basically lands of Ayus. Nobody likes to mention the word Ayus. Because again, it's that thing where you mention something too much is like, say something from the mirror 3 times and something bad happens. Kind of situation, right? You don't mention evil beings, they might attract their attention.
Yeah.
He has paired up with Reki in the last 3 years or so. And I noticed a strange pattern. Every time Lord Raknian has a new paramour, and yet they disappear. Without comments, or without sign or trace of them.
Disappear, you say? That's quite interesting.
And Lord Raknian looks very healthy for some man of such age. You've noticed the scars, haven't you?
Yes. How old is he, pray tell?
He's about your age. But someone who has fought so long in the arena without the benefits of a godly patron, it's remarkable that he's still alive.
Religion check on this?
I mean, basically, she's saying basically that without major clerical help, it's very difficult for someone of his age.
No, I understand that. What I'm basically like, can I do a religion check to maybe determine how that's possible from a religious standpoint? I'm assuming it's probably more arcane, but I'm just going with what
I mean, she's basically hinting something is going on, but religion won't give you otherwise, other than God, a God is allowing this to happen or helping out. No,
I don't know which. Okay,
exactly, or what exactly? It could be magic, it could be alchemy, it could be.
Or actually, can I do a religion check to think about gods that could give sort of its patrons or those that worship it, I guess, like youth or something like that, to make them look better than they really are?
I mean, the problem is technically any god could do that, whether they want. In fact, the list of gods that can do that is much larger than the gods that actually would not do that.
Shit, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And most of them are actually probably good or neutral deities, right?
Okay.
Yeah. That's a reward for good service, right? As opposed to,
Well, I will say then to Celeste, I say that's that is very unusual indeed. Perhaps maybe you said you wish us to look on the inside regarding what is going on?
yes.
What are we looking for exactly?
Anything unusual? Anything out of place? You give me the information, I will give you money if I find it useful. I can't tell because if I could, I wouldn't be talking to you. Now, would I?
I'm not one that does these type of things for money. However, just the suspicions you bring up alone, and the new information you've given does make things suspect. You said that something more is happening?
Yes.
I hope that I uncover it for you.
Now be careful. He's a lord for a reason. He is a man of wealth and power, and he is not he may be older, but he's still a formidable fighter in his own right. Well, I suspect these days he relies more on his bodyguards to do most of the lifting. We're not too squeamish if it comes to it.
Have you ever fought in a war, Madame Celeste?
My job, such as it is to avoid them at all costs. But I seen the repercussions therein.
I can tell you, nothing is makes me squeamish anymore.
It isn't about being squeamish. It's more about knowing the price that is paid by the innocent, by those who are neither rulers or masters. My job is to make sure that doesn't happen. Ironically enough, I tend to work with those rulers and masters. It's complicated.
See that. Quick insight on her again.
Go ahead.
21.
She's being very cagey, very guarded. You see her eyes dart usually to wherever Raknian used to be, right?
Mm.
She's very much focused on her. I think that on him and on his bodyguard, which he named earlier.
Oracle, whatever.
Yeah. And yeah, she's very, very cagey, very nervous, right? She looks like she is willing to bolt at any moment. But if something happens, she's not going to stick around, basically, to fight her like that.
I say to her, then, perhaps would you wish to speak to Master Kix about this?
No, he attracts too much attention. He would listen to a good friend, wouldn't he? A trusted advisor.
Assume so. Although to be fair, we we tend to attract a lot of attention considering the nature of our group.
True enough. But as a more mundane member of your group, and I don't mean offense by that, it's just the reality of it.
I say, if you're looking for mundane, Master Barakat would probably be the one to speak to.
And she looks at you and smiles and says nothing. But her green is ear to ear.
Something I don't. Interesting. I will relay the information then that you've given me, Madam Celeste. Pray, how will you contact us again, or how will I contact you? Will it be after the games, I presume?
I will be in the arena. I will be among the players. Not the players, but the audience, hopefully. And I would probably also try to, again, if possible, contact your friend Master Guard. Although he seems to be the stand-up-ish type, the one that likes to keep himself inside his own shell.
Yes, he tends to do that. If I was to make a suggestion on getting his attention, if you know of any sort of knowledge that is arcane in nature, I think that might make him come out of his shell, if you will.
I'll keep that in mind. Now, the party's winding down, and I've had too much drink. And I think you and your fellows will have to take some rest, especially the little kobold.
Yes, I think Hugh is on my shoulder while I'm speaking to her.
Oh yeah, 100%. Passed out on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I give her a smile. I say, "It's a pleasure, Madam Celeste."
I often don't find the draconic types to be cute, but you little guys growing up. Have a good evening.
You as
Both
well.
of you. And she sort of basically leaves. I mean, she melds with a group of people that are sort of like being ushered out by the guards, and like, like she just one of them. Like she just was always in part of that group.
Pointedly though, Hugh wrapped up in a blanket has to look like some sort of like, I don't know, like a puppy, almost like a reptilian puppy.
Yeah.
I assume that like we can't leave this area now because the games have officially started.
No, this is the Thursday party. You will be ushered in officially. Basically the night before. So it's tomorrow. Yeah. You have about a day or so to, because the idea is that if you drink and overeat, you should be able to sleep it off, right? That's without being too exhausted. Doesn't stop you from going drunk again before the games, but that's entirely up to you.
Get that last meal in.
Yeah, a lot of carbs in that and sugars in that buffet table.
We'll go to Kix
Buffet.
and Barakat. I'm assuming they're both there, like near each other at this point.
Oh, welcome back, Braith. I think everything's winding down. I suppose we're about to head out.
Yes, I think we need to retire. Our friend here is well, he's
Unconscious.
not right now. Yes. And also, when we get back, I wish to talk strategy with you.
All right, that's good. I think we definitely need to.
Mhm. So I take you retired to the Green Sleeping Giant Inn, and you're there. Unless someone else is going to do something different. Usually Gar still doing research.
Is Gar actually with us in the inn at the moment?
I leave that entirely up to him.
I mean, I guess I eventually have to sleep at some point, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to sleep in the library.
No, they're probably somewhere around midnight. They close the library and usher you out. Even if they have to roll your shell out, basically.
Hasn't even ascended beyond basic mortal needs yet. Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, every time you see me, I'm only drinking water, so I'm at least partway there.
The thing is, he doesn't like to eat lettuce in front of other people. It's embarrassing. So, that's...
The secret is I'm eating inside my shell.
Yeah.
I pull the head in.
When Gar does come back, I would actually, if we're still up, I would actually ask Kix if we can get with the whole group, get a moment of privacy. Even though Hugh is still sleeping on my shoulder at the moment.
Sure, I have the private room booked up there. So we'll all go there. We'll convene and talk strategy. Oh,
it's actually Master Kix. It's not strategy that I need to speak to you with.
I mean, we do need to talk about it.
We can regale it tomorrow when our heads are clearer. There's an interesting development that occurred at the commencement party that I think we should discuss with everybody here. Do you recall?
Yes, I saw what they did to poor Hugh.
Hugh will be fine. I'm sure he can take the punt.
Hugh was actually never kicked.
Oh,
he just passed out.
What happened was he was going to be, but in response, he's like, "Wait, I don't want to bruise. Let me get a blanket."
Yeah, so it's still very confusing to me what the purpose of the blanket was.
And then Hugh got obnoxiously drunk telling stories half of the time in Giant with this person.
You really should have gotten a pillow and some rope.
Thought about it, but blanket was what first came to mind.
I'm sure
Right, it was a little odd.
But I do wish to. Did you recall seeing a blonde-haired woman, scanning the room?
Can't say that I did. Did you have a talk with her? Are they representing someone?
I did speak with this woman, a woman by the name of Celeste, one that apparently knew you by name as well, Master Gar.
Okay.
It's an interesting scenario. She told me some things regarding, God, I can't pronounce his name.
Raknian.
Raknian.
Louis Raknian.
Damn it.
No, that's his name. It's on the picture.
I was trying to do it without looking at the picture.
Oh, my problem is on my other screen. I have to stream. In the stream, I have the picture.
Yeah.
Was saying some peculiar things about Lord Raknian. Something about these games being more than meets the eye, as well as the fact that he may be influenced by the gentleman he was with during the evening. And effectively I go through what Celeste told me in the details, how Raknian seems pretty good looking for his age, despite the fact that he's slightly older than me, which I guess really puts me in a predicament.
I do like the idea that you get this far, and it's literally you brought us all together to tell us you were gabbing about how cute the boys were.
No, not like that.
Where we're gabbing about it.
I basically go through the whole story, as well as how there may be something unusual going on, and then that this woman, Celeste, seemed very guarded and cagey and very strange, and that perhaps we should be very mindful of what's going on here.
Can I ask you a quick question, Robert? Not Braith,
Yes.
Robert. when you roll insight checks, what do you imagine Braith is doing visually?
Imagine he's like scanning for like
No, I'm sorry. How does he look when he's doing it? Like when I'm trying to.
What's your tell?
Well, it's not so much your tell. Like when I'm talking to somebody in real life, and I might not realize it, but I do to get closer to them if I'm trying to. So like I'll lean into you face to face if I think you're lying to me. I don't know it, but I recognize that I do it. What is Braith doing? Because he does it all the time.
I just assume it's kind of like the Clint Eastwood squint, as I like to call it, like his eyes kind of narrow as he focuses on something. Because I'd be looking for like, body language tells, the words that they use, how nervous they would be, that type of stuff. Kind of like a little mix of like Sherlock Holmesy there, I guess.
I'm just wondering, because we see you do it all the time, but I mean, I don't really know what we're seeing when we see you do it.
You posted that Clint Eastwood thing, that's basically it.
Angry old man face. Got it. Alright, go ahead.
Angry.
Go ahead. Back to telling us how you were gabbing about the boys.
He's not angry when he's in that face. At least he's not trying to be.
Did they give any indication as to what?
No, that's
what's got them so worried?
That's the strange thing. She didn't really divulge, other than that apparently there's something in the connection between Lord Raknian and the Help. That got Oracle.
Orcus?
Whatever.
No, I'm joking. If it was Orcus, we'd be different conversation.
Yeah. Braith is oh god. But I go through the whole thing and I say
the name is Okoro.
Okarol. Excuse me. It was like Okrol. I keep thinking
it's a fantasy.
Oh, literally the other name I have on stream right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I go through like the whole thing that she mentioned to me, and I let Kix and everybody know that. I also mention since we're going to be locked in there, she asked me if we can find anything regarding these games. Perhaps it might be worth looking into. But she will be on the outside, and she apparently mentioned attempting to contact you again, Master Gar.
Well, I mean, you guys are going to be locked into a barracks. And my whereabouts are completely known.
I suspect the reason she's trying to go for you is because whatever is afflicting the arena is probably something arcane in nature, and that's probably something we need to be cautious about.
There is a city full of wizards, ensuring that nothing happens in the arena.
And at the same time, this is someone who's come to you with merely suspicion and asks us to be on edge and worried throughout a competition of which we have to perform to our best.
One person has come up with a suspicion that something may be untoward.
And I can imagine no easier way to sink our career ahead of us than to spoil the game somehow.
One might say, in fact, that interfering with the progression of the games would be the way to ruin one's progression.
Wait, hold up one moment. Gar, did we just agree?
I don't think so. I was making fun of you. Did you say something that agreed with me?
No, but I thought I heard something similar. It's very strange. I must have been imagining it. At any rate, if you do believe there is something going on, I'm not exactly the type to go rifle through other people's things.
How long until the rest of them get locked up into the barracks?
Tomorrow.
What time?
Tomorrow.
Probably about mid-morning.
Mid-morning. That's what, 8 a.m.? 10 a.m.?
About 10 a.m., yeah.
I don't know what the middle of the morning is. Yeah. So, I mean, technically you guys got time. But again, messing with the proceedings of the arena of the tournament is probably not going to go the way you suspect it will.
Hmm. What do you two think, Hugh Bearcat?
I assumed Hugh was asleep.
He is. He passed out. That's what he said.
I look over to Hugh
Yeah.
and go, good job, Hugh.
Well, I can't say that those claims this woman made that they aren't intriguing, and actually seem kind of possible. I just don't know whether it's something we should focus on.
Guard, do you know how to make people invisible?
In what fashion?
By a spell.
That is not in my bailiwick.
Oh, well, unfortunate.
I can, in
By the-
fact,
by the-
make
by the
more
way-
than one person.
By the way, if you are going to buy spells, this is a good place to buy them as well.
How much money
That's
do
what-
we
that's
have?
Yeah, no, it's not a thing I'm concerned about right now.
Okay, I just wanted to.
Actually,
Also, someone else will be outside as well. Will be in contact with you, which will be your agent. He's not going to go in. Remember, he's gonna be dealing with the bets.
Mhm.
So he can pass messages along, like how much you can pass a message saying we want you to bet this and that before the fight and whatnot, so he can make the arrangements. Yes.
Yeah, what are the rules about engaging people in the barracks?
Outside of your agents, they're not supposed to have anybody else who have in contact.
No friends and family.
Nope.
Children.
Nope.
Pets.
Contact with other.
Unless the pets are there to fight.
We have contact with other.
Wetford would be allowed.
Team substitutions.
You can have an extra as a team substitute. Yes.
I
Oliver.
say we keep Webford as an extra if we can bring in Gar, only because the
No.
action economy with me and Webford in there is going to be against us.
Gar is already out. He's already said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ola
Gargoyle's
Burn.
already out.
I mean, though, I would suggest maybe Ola. Well, wait. The substitutes are trapped in the barracks too, right?
Yeah.
All right. So
Yes.
never mind that. I was thinking
Yeah,
maybe
you
I
can't
could use
con-
Ola
you
Burn.
can't- You can't control them, so no. I mean, he'll just
Yeah.
stand there and do what?
Well, no, actually, I control
Gar.
them mentally. So
Yeah, but what's the range in that?
I think 60 feet, 30
Yeah.
feet, 30 feet. But I mean, 30 feet outside the barracks. If he stands at the back wall,
Yeah.
Gar, there is a spell I do know you can cast. Mirror image, or the one that made you have multiple images.
oh, we had this argument
Could you
again where
cast
you
that
don't
into
know.
my ring?
No,
I know
remember
it's where it had a character. Maybe I don't.
we
know.
can't
No,
interfere.
you use the
Remember,
ability.
this is the whole shit. What's the Harry Potter sports game?
But I can bring in the ring, and the ring can have spells.
No. Also, mirror image is a self spell. I can't cast it on
It
anything.
can still go in the ring, I think.
But if it
Yeah.
goes in the ring,
If it goes in the ring, then I cast it on myself.
How? Somebody remind me how the spell stored ring works, because I thought that had to be a spell that you could cast on others.
no. So
No.
No.
the spell is put into the ring, and it's cast as if you.
Okay, what's
using
the
your
level?
Casting.
What's the level cap that you can hold in there?
Maximum of 3.
I can hold
but
3 levels of it.
3 first level or
No.
1 third level, or what are we
Yeah.
talking here?
any
Yeah,
spread.
all of the above.
It
any
just has to
spread.
add up to 3.
Wait, sorry.
Right, so that's
I
a
heard
2, so I would
two-
take
I
that in
heard
100
Two things that were confusing me there. Is it adds up to 1 third level spell, or is it any 3 of any level?
It's up to one
Adds
third
up
level.
to 1 third level spell.
Okay. So why don't I just give you Fireball?
Oh,
I know
Because I'm
Fireball.
more
I can
concerned about-
give you Fireball. You're already a tank.
Mhm.
I could also give you 3.
Right.
I could also, instead of Mirror Image, which is not that great, I could give you 3 shield spells.
I was thinking that too, but I was thinking that if the barbarian comes at me, I think he's going to hit me. regardless. If
Well-
I have mirror image, there's a chance he won't hit me, and then I can counter on that.
Well, you cast mirror image first, and that'll be there until it wears off. Whereas shield, you have to react. So if he would hit you, you would use shield. Also, if somebody is a wizard and they're throwing magic missiles at you, magic missile shield negates magic missile completely. So that negates
he's the
two
barbarian.
things.
I don't think he's going to.
I'm talking about during the entire competition. Once I give you spells, there is no going back. I can't reverse or give you anything else. So it's now
Right, exactly.
or nothing else.
Mhm.
Mirror image is a
Right,
second level
which is-
spell.
So it is a difficult choice.
I can give you
I think my best bet would be mirror image.
give you
though.
3 burning hands. AoE.
He has
could
that
give
with
him
his
summon
brain.
Hands do
undead.
Anyway.
Well, I don't have.
Oh yeah, I could just animate, kill
No,
him, bring him back, fight the next person.
I don't
Summon
have.
lesser demons.
I don't have summon undead. I have animate dead.
Yeah.
Again, my personal suggestion is shield spell. Mirror image, you'll only get the 1. I can give you 3 shields. Shield is +5 armor for an entire round.
And ultimately, once that gets used up in the space in between, I can then give you the hunter's marks and the smites.
Right.
No, it only works with wizard spells.
Oh, that's something that we needed to clarify. Time that we didn't know about, because this whole time I've been planning to use Hunting Mark and Searing Smite.
Yeah, no, sorry about that.
Really?
Oh, really? Oh, that makes me very sad, because Hunter's Mark would have been the best possible thing out of all possible options. Alright, I guess I'm going with 3 shield spells.
Question.
Is that the item
Does
in
it have-
general or this version
So-
of it?
This version of it. It's
It
a
just
lower
has to
power.
be
It's
a
not.
Okay, cool.
It has
Not
to be a spell on the wizard spell list,
Yes.
but if we also have that spell, we could use that.
Yes.
Okay. So if it's a wizard spell, but we have the spell, we can put it on there. Cool.
That's one way. That's one loop. One way to abuse the situation. You can do that.
In that case, let me see if I can actually load anything up onto it.
Right, suddenly a
Dang.
very important question. We
Like-
didn't really know to research.
Like I'm saying, is that I can only load things onto you now because in clearly the thing close to midnight, in 8 hours, 10 hours, we're not going to be talking anymore. So you might as well
It's
get
at this
the
point where you have to be the person who fills this up for me in the first place. Let's go 3 shield spells then.
right, because mirror image would be 1 and then done, win the combat, lose the combat, whereas 3 shield spells, you win this combat, never use those shield spells, carry it on to another round.
All I need to do is make sure he doesn't hit me at least once.
And you have an armor class of what?
18 right now.
Right, so it would bump you up to a 23 for a round. And again, in future rounds, a wizard shows up, magic missiles at you, completely negate it. High-level magic missiles will hurt. So, negating that, pretty good, and that's not going to,
It
you
is
know...
a good question if there were any wizards involved. I don't think the dwarves seemed very wizardy. The barbarian guy's not very wizardy. The elves didn't seem like it on the face
Remember
of it.
that
so
their
it's a good
elves
question.
have...
Priestess.
The elves have blade singers. They might not seem wizardy, but they could still be wizards.
Cleric.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have 3 spells that can go on the ring. Which
I
are
got none.
Tasha's Hideous Laughter, Blindness, Deafness, and Hypnotic Pattern. So it would either be just Hypnotic Pattern or both of the other 2.
Blindness is pretty great.
It is.
Okay. If you could just put those in chat, I'm just gonna go ahead and mark those down somewhere for me to remember for later.
The other thing is that you can reload them in the barracks with him.
Yeah.
So we can
Are all
switch out.
spells. Fire cat. And then I think Hugh.
As
could
far as I know,
also
I
do
got
some-
nothing.
Okay, so I'm gonna write this all down.
Those are the only ones I have currently. If we level up, I can switch spells and gain spells, so don't know in the future.
I mean, at the same time, if your first match is a 1v1 with this one guy, Fireball's still a pretty good option.